Hi guys, what's going on? I am here. I am alive. I'm not live. Anyway, thank you for those who have watched my vacation vlogs. I had a great time and I hope that you got to see that. But this video, as you can tell from the title, is going to be about my experience and tips to give you about the Carnival Cruise or Carnival in general. I'm going to start off with my experience and then just talking about simple like housekeeping stuff that you should know, things to look forward to when visiting countries that you don't really know about. So I'm going to start off. My experience seemed pretty great. Our destination was supposed to be Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and Grand Cayman. I bought an excursion for Mexico, and my excursion was basically a cultural excursion where I watched an ancient Mayan game, had traditional Mayan food, walked around the village, you know, to learn about their culture, and have a beach day. So I was like so pumped. I was so ready. I was like, yes honey, let's go. You know, I originally wanted to do like the Mayan temples or whatever, but it was a little too much money. This one was a little cheaper, but it was also great because it reminded me of the, was it Disney or DreamWorks? I don't remember. Movie The Road to El Dorado. If you've watched that, then you know what I'm talking about. Excuse me, this is my what is that art bag, so don't mind it. I plan on putting like 2 little side tables here one day, but whatever. So yeah, my experience. So Sunday morning, early, like 1:20 in the morning, my friend's like, all right, we're on our way. And she gives me a text, says we have an issue, and I was like, oh no, what could be the issue? So she read an email that she got 2 days prior that our itinerary changed for the trip. We were no longer going to those 4 destinations, but instead we were going to the Bahamas because the ship couldn't make it to all 4 destinations in a week because it needed to be fixed or whatever. And I was just like, you figured this out 2 days before we actually go on the ship? So the thing was that my friend didn't see the email. She was busy, you know, I guess it just kind of slipped and just got past her. My other friend had hers in her spam, and I never even got an email. So it was just like, so we were like upset because it's like, I really wanted to go to Mexico. Like I was like, oh, in Belize and Honduras and Grand Cayman, like, I was just like I was so upset. And but we tried to make the best out of the trip, and instead we ended up going to the Bahamas twice, if that makes sense. We went to one island and then another island, and I'll talk about these islands as I go on further, but the experience was pretty good. I was just glad that I even got a chance to go on vacation with my girls, and it was refreshing and a new thing for me because I don't really go much places, so it was definitely a blessing. But now I'm going to get into some more technical stuff. Okay, so I don't know if you would book a cruise on your own or if you're going with people, but there's usually a head person on the account. So yeah, you pay for the trip. Let's say it's like $400 something. I think that's how much ours was at the time. And then, you know, there's taxes. Taxes are a lot. So that added up. And then there was also port fees for the different ports in different countries you have to pay. These things aren't really hidden. I saw like this this video of someone talking about hidden fees and just weird stuff, and it just didn't make sense to me because I was like, how did you not know? Whatever. So I'm gonna just tell you what I know is on there. And then on top of that, you have to pay gratuity. Depending on how many days your cruise is, you pay a certain amount of gratuity to the people who clean your room, pick up your dishes and all this stuff. And I'll talk about that more. Like, what do you mean pick up your dishes? So yeah, so by the time we got all of that included, my trip was probably like 600 something, which wasn't bad because I expected that to happen. And it was a 7-day cruise. So our tip that we paid individually was $100 each for 7 days. Okay, not too bad. So basically that was it. There wasn't any like crazy thing, except one thing. I didn't read something. Like when you go online, you have an account. You must go on this account because you have to fill out certain things that you need to get onto the ship and all this different stuff, because you're going internationally. You need certain things like your ID. Like even though you have to bring an ID, either a passport, state ID, driver's license, you have to have these things with you, or else you cannot get on the ship at all, like from America or from another country. Excuse me, I'm like all over the place, guys. So yeah, I didn't know that they would hold money on my account, and they held $200. And I was like, oh, that was the same time my rent was coming out. So I was freaking out, but you know, whatever, such is life. I wasn't gonna die, but I think they held it for about a few days and then released the $200 back into my account. So I would say have more than $200 in your account. I didn't, because I had rent coming out plus that, so like it went negative, and I was like, oh come on. I was so mad, and like I couldn't do anything about it because by that time we were on the sea, and we have no service, and even if you do have the basic minimal internet, you cannot use a banking app. I was so annoyed, but you know, that was fine. It wasn't anything like too tragic. Yeah, so if I were you, because we got this email 2 days before we were supposed to go, even if you go online onto your account, your Carnival account, it won't tell you if your itinerary changed. Check your email frequently and constantly, especially leading up to the days of the cruise, because we didn't know. And here's the thing. When you got the email, you had, I think, 48 hours to either get a full refund from the entire trip, and if you took a plane, for your plane refund as well. They would call the whatever company, we went with JetBlue, and they would refund you back that money. Even if your actual ticket is not refundable, they'll pay it. So like that was cool, and I know a lot of people who got the email did that and went on another cruise, which is smart, but we didn't know. So when we got there, some people didn't even know about it until they got on the ship that they weren't going to where they thought they were going. I was like, oh my god, I would be so mad. So please just check your email, check your spam, and if you don't get an email or anything like that, because I didn't, I would try to call Carnival and just speak to an agent and be like, hey, I'm just being super, you know, cautious. Like, did the itinerary for the cruise change at all? Yes or no? Cool. And that's basically the only hiccup we had. Like, we couldn't refund because we didn't get it in time. But what Carnival did was refund us our excursions, however much our excursion cost, and they refunded us 50% of our cruise purchase. On top of that, they gave us $100 on our Carnival Cruise cards, which was nice. And then they also gave you money back for the port fees that you didn't go to, because I was supposed to go to those ports. They gave us back that money, but charge for the Bahamas, which is still less than, because it's 2 ports rather than 4, you know what I'm saying? You get like half, or all the port prices are different. It just depends on what country you're going to. So please just be like cautious, like call, make sure that nothing changes, because we definitely overpassed. It's like it wasn't even that warm. I mean, there were times it was hot, it was hot, but a lot of times it was very chilly because we weren't at the part of the Caribbean that was that warm or that hot. So yes, just be very cautious and just check up on everything. So getting on the ship, there was another hiccup once we were at the airport. We were told that the Carnival shuttle bus would be there when we got there, which was like 8. We didn't get on that thing till like 1, 2 o'clock. So we were pretty upset because we were misinformed, but whatever. If you do use Carnival transportation, it is $31. It's subject to change. Maybe it's more depending on where you're coming from, because we went from Fort Lauderdale to Miami, which wasn't really far, but if you're going from Fort Lauderdale to Fort Lauderdale dock, I think it will be cheaper. Just, yeah. But ask the agent, make sure, like, when is the shuttle supposed to arrive at the airport? Because, I mean, and sometimes people just tell you different things, so just be prepared for maybe staying at the airport longer than you expected. But just, like I said, like, constantly check with Carnival, like, what is the policy, like, what do you guys do? But anyway, we got to the port and we had these tickets on our bags to tell us, or to like bring our luggage to our rooms. You could either bring your own luggage like by yourself, or you can have Carnival do it for you. We had Carnival do it for us. We had our boarding passes, we had our IDs, passport, whatever. They did like you sign this paper, like waivers that you're supposed to sign, that I told you that when you have your online account, you're supposed to fill that all out. And then it wasn't a long process. It was pretty quick. We kind of went through the metal detectors. Then we just kind of kept going. And then they checked our ID and boarding pass again once we were actually stepping onto the boat. And then we got to our rooms. Our bags weren't there, but we had our, wait, when did we get our ID card? We got our ID card, I think, in the mailbox in front of our room. So mine is blue because I'm a first time flyer, first time cruiser, and there's different kinds depending on how many times you've gone on a cruise, and you get like special rewards and upgrades if you like go often. But this card is very important. You need this card on the ship and off the ship. If you don't have it, you have to pay money for it, and if you don't have it and think you can survive, it's not gonna work, honey. It's not gonna work, because they will leave you in the country and take off. But yeah, getting on the ship, we got in the room, you know. If you're like starving, there's food out there on the decks. The Lido deck, I love the Lido deck, I just like the name. Normally has like buffet style food, so you go there. I think they had like, was it breakfast or lunch? I don't remember. But there's food out there for you if you're like starving. Like we said, we were stranded for like 4 hours before we actually got on the ship. Yeah. Shortly after you get on the boat, probably like an hour or so, once everyone has gotten on the ship that's supposed to be on the ship, you have muster stations, which is located on your card on the bottom left side, which is like a place you go just in case of an emergency, like the ship's about to sink. Everyone has a muster station where you go out on the side of the boat, and they show you how to use your life jacket. It's very claustrophobic. There's a lot of people on the boat, so I was just like I don't like a lot of people around me. So if you're claustrophobic, just prepare for that, because they're like, you have to do muster station. It's not an option. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't really long. Someone over the intercom kind of tells you what to do, while one of the staff members stands every few feet and shows you how to apply the, what is that thing called now? The life jacket, right? Cool. But then, you know, other than that, that's basically kind of really it. The ship decor, I was on Carnival Splendor. I don't know if all the other ships are designed the same way, but it's like, if the ship was a human, it would be like this super extra, kind of like drag queeny. It was like very extra and glittery and just like so extra. But after a while, you kind of got used to all the weird colors and designs and patterns. Like, it really didn't make much sense, but I mean, it was cute. It was just a little too much for my eyes at first. But like I said, I was on this shit for 7 days, so like after a while, you don't even notice it. So we went to Nassau and Freeport, and we're gonna talk about that. So when you are coming off of the ship, once it's docked at a destination, you must carry, first of all, carry some water with you guys if you can, like a water bottle or I don't know, something. Or you can get water off of on the island. It doesn't really matter, but make sure that there's water with you. These places are hot, and just don't overheat. The ship gives you a towel, but you cannot lose this towel or they will charge you for it. So you could take this towel off of the ship to go to the beach or whatever, but you must bring it back or you will be charged for a towel, and it costs way more than a normal towel, okay? Should cost. And the towel is like blankety, and it's so nice. It's such a nice towel. It's so nice. But so Nassau was pretty cool. So yeah, you bring your ID, your regular state license ID, and your Carnival card with you. It's the only way you can get off or on. So like we go and we're chilling, and Nassau was pretty. We didn't get to really explore the island much, but ooh. Oh god, I'm so rude. Whatever. Excuse me. It was cute. It was nice. The water was nice. It was visually appealing to the eye. And yeah, I liked it. Freeport, Bahamas was not nice at all. So when we docked and like I finally like opened my eyes to like where we were, I was like, where are we? Like I felt like we were in some weird freaky movie, because it's an industrial island. That's where they hold like a lot of like food and storage, I guess, for other islands, or for I don't know, but there was just like mad machines and just like all this like weird building dome stuff, and I was like, this is not cute. And because of Hurricane, was it Andrew? I don't know when that happened, I forget. The island looks pretty sad. Like a lot of like hotels are destroyed. Like the land is just like, ugh, like it looks terrible. There was even like a fire amongst like the palm trees because it was like dry. And I was like, this is like really freaky. But we get to the beach area, and the beach is so beautiful. The sand is white. The waves were not wild. They were very calm. But the beach area was probably the nicest thing about Freeport. It really isn't a really nice island. They definitely need help with rebuilding and restoring Freeport. And I'm sure other Bahamian islands as well. So if you are going to go to Freeport, try to do an excursion like dolphin or those little speedboat thingies. I saw someone get flipped over on one, and I was like, that's why I'm going them things, because I would think a shark's gonna eat me and I'll just die in the middle of the water from fear because I'm like crazy. But yeah. So next, what to expect when taking a Carnival cruise or even going on vacation anywhere is the heckling from the people on the island who are trying to sell you stuff. Oh my god. Oh my god, Caribbean people are so annoying. I can say that because I am. But expect people to be jumping out of nowhere trying to get you to buy something. If you want to buy something, buy something. But I normally go to people who approach me properly. Like if you come over here with an attitude or like very pushy or on top of me, you're not getting my money. There are some people who are like just really humble and calm and so sweet, and we were talking about, you know, like a little bit of personal stuff. Like I enjoyed that the most. There was one person that was on my vlog that she, you know, she spoke, and there was another lady, an older lady who was so cute. I even gave her extra money just for being a sweetheart. But also, like, don't stop at one shop. Go around to all the other shops and see who's cheaper. And you can also get cheaper prices on things if you're like, She's like, oh, it's 20. You're like, well, can I do 15? She's like, play around with them, play around with them. And you can get something cheaper, just because they say sometimes they start off with the most expensive thing, even though that's not really how much it costs. So that's why you gotta be like, no, we don't do that here. So yeah, get used to heckling. Some people are very all up in your face, and be assertive, really. To be like, no thank you, I said no, and that's it. Or just don't answer at all. There's some really rude people that I was not feeling. I was like, you know, I may be new to this country and to this island, but I have Caribbean blood in me, and I'll get an attitude just as much as you can, okay? Like, don't. So like, expect that to happen. Like, Caribbean people can be very rude. Like, they really can be. Some of them are just absolutely disgusting, and I can say that because I'm Caribbean. So, but no, really, some of them are just like outrageous, and I was just like, I don't understand this whole attitude thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, just be careful. And also with taxis, I wouldn't go in a taxi with, like, by myself or with just the people I came with. I would go with like other people from the ship. I feel like it's a lot safer, like, you know, there's like accountability. And also ask around, like, people like, okay, what beach did we go to? And then someone will say, go to this beach, there's a fee. You'd be surprised how the beach is right next to each other, and if you ask another taxi man, he says it's free. In Freeport, they did the same thing. They're like, oh, this beach is nicer than this beach. It's a beach in the Bahamas. How is it nicer? It's water and sand. And it was literally right next to each other. You can walk. Like, there was no difference. So ask around, because some of these taxi people will try to play you. There's usually like maps right near the taxi thing, and it'll be two different named beaches, but they're right next to each other. And one will charge you and one won't. So, you know, be mindful of those people that try to play you, because they will try to play you to make a buck. But yeah, go with a whole bunch of people. Don't just go veering off by yourself. Make sure that there is like a whole bunch of people with you, unless it's like an excursion that Carnival did. Never go somewhere by yourself, okay? Don't do that. That's no good, okay, honey? Okay, so you guys can shop and basically bring basically anything back on the ship. Obviously not drugs and stuff, like that's stupid, or like an animal or something like that. Like, it's not gonna work. You can bring back seashells and clothes, and you can bring back alcohol, but the ship holds the alcohol until the last day of your cruise, and you have to pick it up. Some of them drop it off, but you make sure you get that information when they take your alcohol from you. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, that's basically it. And when you get back on the ship, like, you pass like a, what do you call those things, like the border patrol, I guess. So you have to have your ID in your cruise card. You have that and you're good to go. If you don't have it, you're staying on that island or that country. You ain't coming back unless you go to whatever customs, whatever you have to go to. But for those of you who were able to only afford to pay for the cruise and not do an excursion, there are tons of things to do on the ship. If you've seen my video before, you will see that we did tons of things. Tea time, pampering, you know, I did like, there was parties and all these, there's like so much. I think I did more on vacation than I did here at home, which is absolutely nuts. So there is always something to do. Another thing that may be cool or annoy you is that Carnival takes a lot of photos of you. Elegant Night, obviously they have, you know, professional photos to take, and like even when you're coming off of the ship, they have like people dressed in costume, and they take photos of you, and they will develop the photos and put them in like this, there's like this floor where it is like a whole bunch of developed photos, and you can either buy those photos or like put them in a bin if you don't want them. You don't have to buy photos. So like, yeah, it was pretty cool. By the way, like, you don't really spend money like cash or your debit card on the ship. You put everything on this card here. And they have like an ATM thing where you could actually take cash out, or you could go to customer service and get cash out from this card. You use this card. Only thing you have to pay for on the ship are just certain things that they have. Like if you want to get something from the spa or something, or if you want to buy alcohol, you have to use this card. And they have specials sometimes on, like, alcohol is usually like $10 each, but like you may get a special for like $7. But yes, this card is very important. So yeah, I think, you know, getting off the ship was like cool. It wasn't that bad. They call you by floor. You come out, you go through like customs again, and they drill you like with questions, like probably 2 or 3 questions. When's your birthday? Where do you, like, what's your occupation? And you just have to answer real quick, or no, and then you're basically done. You're back in the States, and you do whatever you want to do. But I would definitely go on another cruise again. I'm just much wiser about, you know, how I will go about doing a trip. And my next trip, I hope, will be Cuba, because I've always wanted to. Not always wanted to, but in the past year, I've had like a strong desire to go there. And now that it's allowed, I think I will take that opportunity before things get ruined, if they do. So if you like this video, thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. I see like a lot of people coming on who are viewing my videos, and I'm like, I want to know who you are. Like, subscribe, and we can chat in the comments and things like that. Like, I really like interaction, and not interacting kind of just like, I feel like a one-man show here. But for those who are interacting, cool. If you have any more questions about taking a cruise that I didn't speak about, or I did speak about, and you want me to elaborate, please comment below, and I would love to answer your questions. And yeah, bye bye.